What's up, you guys? It's Warknuckle Revolution here, back at you with another Tootsietoy restoration. This model that you see in front of you is a 1949 Mercury Custom 4-door. The Tootsietoy company made it from 1950 to 1952. And it's definitely seen some better days, lots of paint loss as you can see. But ultimately, it's got all four wheels on it, so that's good. It's not in that bad of condition, but I thought about redoing this one today. Just because, I could use it for sure. But this is what it looks like in real life, guys. They did a pretty good job, I think, making it look like it should. But anyways, I got these two vice grips. Got from the local hardware store. The ones I was using before were kind of big. So I got these like miniature vice grips. You can't really tell, I guess, on camera, but they're way smaller than normal vice grips are. So they're like perfect for doing this job. Just showing you guys how to take these wheels off. If you don't know, you grab the center part of the axle with one of the vice grips, and then the other one you use a twisting motion and slight pulling motion to release the wheel from the axle. And just flip this over and do it on the other side as well. Let's get that one off. It really doesn't take that much time at all to get it off. Just a few seconds and you got your second wheel off. So there we go. And I do take the back wheels off, of course, before I paint strip it, just so we don't damage the wheels or anything. The wheels look really good, good condition. These axle tips though, the top of the nail as it was, I guess, they need to be touched up, so I'll probably touch those up in the end. But here's the axle part of itself, and we're just putting some paint stripper on, guys, so we can get all that good original paint off. This is interesting because this is the first model I've done that actually has the original paint on it. So yeah, I just didn't think it was in, that good a shape to just put on a shelf. The paint's not too bad, but I think it's bad enough where I could restore it, so that's what I do. But you want to make sure you get a lot of paint stripper on here all together so that paint really comes off. And then I zoom in, and this is a time lapse of like 20 to 30 minutes of the paint bubbling up to the surface. It's 20 times regular speed, guys, so it doesn't happen this fast whatsoever. But, it's really cool when it all bubbles up like it does. So that's why I included that in here. Yep, really, really bubbling up, as you can see. It looks like it takes like no time at all, but yeah, this footage is sped up. Anyways, now on to taking the paint off with my toothbrush. Not my toothbrush I currently use, but a older toothbrush. I would not want to put this thing back into my mouth after taking maybe possibly lead paint off of this car. I mean, it is from 1950, so I don't know if they're using lead paint back then, but probably. As you can kind of see, the paint's not all coming off the way I want it to. A lot of it's coming off, so I'm going to have to reapply this paint stripper to this car. But it comes off. A lot of it does come off, so that's a good thing. For sure. Just make sure I really rub in all the grooves in here. There's a lot of detail in these cars, you'd be surprised. On the sides of these cars there's like these little indents, you know, just showing the detail on the cars. But I'm brushing fairly hard to get all that paint off. And I can always go back over this with a safety pin to try to get it out of the grooves and things. I mean, this part isn't necessary. What I'm doing right now is getting the paint off the inside. I didn't really need to do that, but since there was paint stripper like it dripping down through the windows, I said to myself, might as well. And here I took a rag to it, and then I realized that I didn't get the front bumper all the way off, so I didn't like go over it with a toothbrush, so I was going it over with a rag, but then I realized I could get the front bumper better, so then I do that. Look at all that mess I made on the cardboard I'm working on. But yeah, a lot of it did come off, which is really good, but eventually I put stripper on it again, and then I redo the process of taking it off again. So I did it twice overall, and then I went over it with a safety pin as well to try to get the paint off those cracks and crevices. But right here, I'm pointing out that there's some issues with the casting. There's like casting imperfections. So I take this file and I start filing in between the windows where there's some, you know, extra metal that doesn't need to be there. And this doesn't really take that long, so this isn't sped up footage or anything. Just really getting in there. I haven't done this on any of the other restorations I've done on the channel thus far, but I decided to just take a go at this, I guess, doing something different. I've seen other YouTubers that redo cars do this, so I thought I would give it a try, especially because this one needed it. It had like a lot of, not a lot I guess, but a few imperfections in the window spaces that I needed to get out. And here actually I get the file stuck in the window, so that was unfortunate, but I get it out eventually. Yeah, altogether, well, there wasn't too much when it comes to the windows and there being imperfections in the casting itself. So this back window was kind of tough. There's this tiny little nick of metal coming off the window, so I really tried to get that really well. I think it turned out alright. And then here especially, I think I do point out where it is, right on the bottom side of these windows. There's like really rough pieces of metal, so I'm just gonna file that down with this file here. I thought I was gonna get the file stuck in the window again, but it kind of happens, I guess, but it doesn't happen that much. I mean, the windows are really small, and this file isn't the smallest you probably could get. It was the smallest one I could find at my local hardware store, so might as well take what you can get. Checking out my handiwork, seeing what else I need to work on. I think there's some parts in the front windows now. Yeah, that I need to work on again. This corner I need to work on a bit more. So I really go to town filing away. Make sure it looks all good like it should. What I don't want to do here is file right through the center post in the windshield, but I don't do that, which is good. If I put too much pressure on it, I feel like I could file right through it because this metal's kind of soft. And it's, I don't want to say it's easily breakable, but it's good. Anyways, this is royal blue gloss enamel primer and paint. Decided to paint the model in. For some reason I didn't turn on the camera when I was spraying this down all the way, so that's why you see it blue like it is now. Just because for some reason I didn't turn on the camera when I should have turned it on just like moments after I sprayed it. But then I noticed that it's not painted all the way, so then I go over it again, as you can see. Now this blue looked really similar to the blue that it was. I don't think it's exact, but it definitely looks a lot better than it did, so that's good. Right here I decided to paint all the details, so of course I sped up this so you guys wouldn't all be bored to tears. Yeah, there's no way I can paint that fast, and it's such a small car. I mean, it's not extremely small. It's not like 3 inches like your typical Hot Wheels or anything. It's 4 inches long, but I guess comparison from the last one I painted, that one was a lot bigger. 6 inches versus 4 inches. This one being 4 inches, and the last one I did was 6 inches. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a card notification in the corner of this part right here. But go check that out if you haven't seen it and you're interested in these small car restorations on the channel. But make sure, you get all the little details on here. That's looking really good. The bumper. So that's good. Just making sure I get all the side bits of the back bumper. Then I'm thinking to myself, what should I do now? It's like, I don't know what was originally painted. And then I look back at the footage and I noticed that this top part, I guess it's just a chrome bit that's part of the trunk that I didn't paint. So I decided to paint this part of it, because that's what it was originally. So that doesn't take me too long, which is good. And then I put it down and I was like, it's time to paint the front bumper. So I do that. Get all the little bits, I guess, and side of the bumper. That's like the tough part because you don't want to touch the side of the car. Really don't want to touch that. So be really careful there. And then I start looking at the pictures again, and I remember that the front grille is actually filled in. So then I start filling that in. I want to be very careful that I don't go too far up the front of the car because it wasn't all chromed out, the front, like the whole front side. It was just the bumper and the grille, and I think the headlights. And I don't want to go too thick with this paint, so I just put the tiniest amount on my paintbrush to go into do this detail, because the paint's kind of thick, and if you get too much on your brush, it just hardens up the details and you just lose all the details. So I didn't want that to happen, so I just put a small amount on my brush. That way you would still see the details and it wouldn't be all clogged up with paint. And I think it worked out pretty well. Doing all this detail work. Really fun painting all the detail work on this. I mean, kind of, what's the word? Kind of tense, I guess, because you don't want to mess up. But ultimately, it looks really good, and I didn't mess up, so that was good. But the headlights are always really difficult because it's kind of just in one particular space and it's not really open. Like, you don't want to get too far outside the lines because there's lines of where the headlights are, and you don't want to go too far outside the lines. But it's really, really difficult not to mess up, so it doesn't look the best here. I'm like trying to zoom in and just touch it up so it looks more circular. But you'll see it in the end, what I ended up coming up with. But right here, this is where I decided to shine up the ends of the axles because they're, really discolored because they've been sitting around for years now. 70 years of just tarnishing over time, so I decided to shine them up with my Dremel with the attachment of a sanding wheel, but not too hard of a sanding wheel, so it just brushes off the surface of it. So it really shines up well, as you'll see in a second. See how shiny that is compared to what it was? Now we're trying to put the wheels on, as you can see. You just put the little nail piece through the tire into the axle. But as you can see, I'm lining the tire up with the side of the car with a hole in it so that you can put the axle through the wheel and then into the whatever holds the axles together, whatever you call that piece. I guess it's like a holder or something. Just banging this on my desk. It's moving the camera as I bang it because my tripod that holds the camera is on the desk and it's just bouncing it around. But I guess what you'd call the axle holder is like the sleeve that holds the axle. But this is what you do when you put the axles back in. You just pound the nails back into the axle sleeve, and hopefully you don't damage the paint while you do this, because it can be kind of fidgety. You know, you don't want to pound too hard. You don't want to miss the nail and hit the car. So you got to be careful about what you're doing. But that wasn't going in like I liked it to, so I just kind of took that out and put it back in. Maybe it was like kind of off at an angle and I wasn't pounding in there correctly. So it's easy to get these wheels off the car itself, but it's kind of hard to put them back in. But we end up getting there in the end. Like, the nail goes in eventually, and we're able to, you know, just have the wheels on there. There we go. It went in where it was supposed to be. Anyways, here's a look at what it used to look like, and all its faded paint and highly played with wear, I guess. But I don't know, it's just so much detail in this car. I thought it just deserved to be in like new condition again. So this is what it used to look like, as we all know. Wait for it, the big reveal, This is what it looks like now, guys. Not the same kind of blue, but a similar kind of blue. And with those shined up axle tops, looks really nice. And then all the detail work I did. I think it looks really great, for sure. Definitely worth the effort. Definitely glad I did this one all together. But I hope you guys liked it. That is the restoration of the Mercury Custom. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.